There's a race against time. It's Jack Smith versus Donald Trump to try to beat Donald Trump from pardoning the remaining co-defendants in the Mar-a-Lago case so that the 11th Circuit can rule to take off the books some terrible precedent set by Judge Eileen Cannon, finding that special prosecutors are illegal and invalid unless they're confirmed by the Senate. I'm Michael Popok. You're on Legal AF, the YouTube channel. Take just a moment before the new year. Help us out. Hit the subscribe button. It helps build a durable, lasting institution of independent media. Let's talk about this race that I'm covering in real time. The participants in the race: Jack Smith, special counsel, soon to be going completely out of business. I believe he's already provided, likely, the two final closeout reports, special counsel reports against Donald Trump concerning Mar-a-Lago and the D.C. election interference case to his boss, Merrick Garland, for future publication prior to the inauguration of the American people. But he's not done yet. We can sit here all day long and criticize Merrick Garland as a strategist and tactician, but nobody can doubt that Jack Smith knows what he's doing. So what he's done is that he's told the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals that has the appeal concerning whether Eileen Cannon is right or wrong, whether 200 years of federal jurisprudence is right or she is right as a relatively new judge, that a special counsel, an independent counsel, a special prosecutor cannot be appointed by the Department of Justice's head, the Attorney General, but only can go through a Senate confirmation process and has to be funded separately by Congress. Again, that's against 200 years of precedent, including the Supreme Court precedent of Nixon versus the United States. The Department of Justice and the Special Counsel's Office feels it is their duty, their burden, to get that precedent off the books. It's up with the 11th Circuit. The two defendants in the 11th Circuit case, we call them the appellee in the appeal, are Walt Nauta, the bodyguard for Donald Trump. I think he still works for him. And also a guy named Carlos DeOlivera, the maintenance worker at Mar-a-Lago. Now, here's the race. The other side of this, the other participant in this sprint is Donald Trump himself, because Donald Trump can pardon those two guys, making the case moot. You got to have parties to a case. And if they've been pardoned and there's no longer a live defendant, if you will, in the case, I think the 11th Circuit won't rule. They'll just say, well, we were about to rule, but, the two remaining defendants, because Donald Trump had already been dismissed by Jack Smith coming off of the election, based on Department of Justice and Office of Legal Counsel advice and precedent. So the only two remaining defendants or appellees in the appellate court are these two guys. And so if those two guys disappear because of the pardon process or the execution of the pardon process, meaning January 20th or thereabouts, there goes the 11th Circuit ruling that we've been waiting for. So Jack Smith sort of wants to remind the 11th Circuit they've got until the 20th of January to issue their decision, which I think Jack Smith is also showing his hand that he believes the decision is going to be in his favor. So he's lateraled his case as he's leaving as special counsel. He's lateraled it to the U.S. Attorney's Office for Miami. Every state has one or several departments or divisions or units of the Department of Justice out of Washington. They're called the U.S. Attorney for that particular district. The districts are based on how many separate federal districts there are in a state. So let's use Florida, for example, where I practice. There's the Northern District of Florida. There's the Southern District of Florida. There's the Middle District of Florida. I think that covers Florida. Middle, North, and South, three major districts. The Southern District of Florida, U.S. Attorney who sits in Miami currently is Markenzie Lapointe, first Haitian American to ever hold that position. Markenzie, great guy, great lawyer. I knew him in private practice, appreciate the work that he's doing now as the U.S. attorney. He will remain the other kind of mini races. He will remain the U.S. attorney until he tenders his resignation or it is demanded of him or he is fired sometime after January 20th. There's no incentive for him to leave now, leave early and let a Trumper be appointed as acting acting U.S. attorney. So he's going to stay. And he'll take the lateral from Jack Smith. He'll continue to prosecute the 11th Circuit appeal. He'll hold the ring while we wait for the 11th Circuit to rule before the 20th of November. Sorry, where am I? 20th of January. Until I got up early this morning. All right, 20th of January, Inauguration Day. That's sort of when all bets are off, right? So Jack Smith is trying every which way but loose to get the 11th Circuit to rule in his favor and do it before Pardon Day, also known as Inauguration Day, and when the U.S. attorneys all summarily get fired by the incoming president or resign. That is the three races, three spinning wheels that I am watching at the 11th Circuit. Now, what I think is going to happen is that the 11th Circuit, which is led by a very competent Republican appointed, but very competent Chief Judge in William Pryor, who sits in Atlanta, is going to get this order out. I think there's going to be a lot of hard rain falling. I just saw the Dylan movie. A lot of hard rain falling on Donald Trump between now and the inauguration. If he thinks he's going to just do a victory lap, with adulation and his fans kissing his ass, not happening. Well, I already reported on the Second Circuit Federal Court of Appeals out of New York ruling against him in a big way, big loss in the E. Jean Carroll case, which will lead to a second loss in the E. Jean Carroll sex abuse, defamation, punitive damages case. Get ready to stroke a check, Donnie, for over $100 million. We're waiting on the state court, appellate court, intermediary division appellate court in New York, the First Department, which sits over Manhattan cases, to rule about the $450 million judgment for civil fraud against Donald Trump and his companies. That could come out before January 20th. We've been sitting on and waiting on it about 3.5 to 4 months. It's about the time that that court issues its rulings, based on my experience. We're waiting on that one. We're waiting on the 11th Circuit one. We're waiting on Judge Merchan in another criminal court aspect of state court in New York to sentence Donald Trump or make his ruling on the pending motion to dismiss on justice grounds that Donald Trump and his lawyers had filed. So he could get sentenced before January 20th, be owing $100 million, owe another $400 million, and now get a ruling that says that the special counsels are proper, that they were constitutionally appointed and funded by Merrick Garland and Congress. I think that's going to be the ruling by the 11th. I think William Pryor, the chief judge, is going to make sure it gets out before January 20th, understanding that once the pardons start flying out of the Trump administration on day one, and I believe there's a spreadsheet of thousands of pardons he's going to enter all on the same day. You think the 1,400 or 1,500 commutation and clemency acts by Joe Biden set a record? Wait till you see the pardons on the first 72 hours or first week of the Trump administration. It's already been drafted and prepared. It's all of the Jan 6th insurrectionists, except maybe for the most violent ones, Proud Boys and Oath Keepers. It's going to be that group. It's going to be a lot of MAGA Congress. It's going to be a lot of his incoming cabinet, a lot of his outgoing cabinet, guys like Walt Nauta and Carlos DeOlivera, who helped him try to hide top secret documents from the American people and the Department of Justice and federal judges in Mar-a-Lago. All of those people. So get ready. That's coming as well. I'll continue to follow all of these races because there really are races going on to January 20th. Right here on Legal AF, take a minute, hit the subscribe button. It really does help us. We're people powered. We don't have outside investors now more than ever. We need independent media analysis and commentary at the intersection of law and politics. Going to be a hot corner, that intersection. Once Jan 20 rolls around and Donald Trump starts writing up all of his executive orders and enters them, we're going to be running to court. We're going to be following that right here on Legal AF. So until my next coverage on Legal AF, I'm Michael Popok reporting. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.